guys, for today's video I'm going to be filming something a little bit random and hopefully this will be a shorter video. I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 overhyped palettes that I regret purchasing. I have filmed some palette of the month review videos with these different palettes and I will have those linked up in the card so you can get more information on them and see different looks I created using them. As I said, I'm wanting this to be short, so I'm going to jump right in. My first palette is probably going to be like the most surprising. That's the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. This is a very expensive palette. Over the past year or so it's gone on sale a couple times, but I bought this on the first restock and I got it for Valentine's Day a couple of years ago. And don't get me wrong, the quality of these eyeshadows are actually very good. Mattes are pigmented and blendable. I love the metallic shades. They are really intense and metallic on the eye. However, the shades in here are not unique in the slightest. I have all of these shades 3 or 4 times over in my collection, so I absolutely did not need this one. Yes, the color arrangement is pretty, but I'm not going to use every single shade, of course. I'm never going to use every shade in a palette, but yeah, this just makes me sad looking at this, knowing how expensive it was and the fact that like I never ever reach for this because I just have so many similar colors. I'm thinking this is something I might try to sell because I've only used it, you know, a handful of times. Again, the quality is good, the shades are pretty, but it's just like kind of boring to me, and I have it 100 times over and I really just regret falling into the hype and buying that palette. Next would be the Dose of Colors 5-pan matte palettes. So I have 3 here, but I believe there are actually 6. So I have Marvelous Mauves, Blushing Berries, and Baked Browns. They also have Sassy Siennas, Snow Angels, and then a Cool Tone palette. Here's what's awful is that I bought these 2 with a coupon, some points, and before I even tested these out, I purchased this one because of the shades, and then I finally tested them. I think I did like a combined review of all of them, and I don't like these palettes at all. So I love the idea of them. They are very sleek and compact. This one is Baked Browns. First off, the eyeshadows are way too soft. This middle shade here, I have had to repress twice. This one right here, I did actually use up. It was just a matte cream. These shades are pretty, nothing insane. I have a lot of other matte browns, of course, and I love the ones from Anastasia more than this. And that, I mean, shade-wise, but also formula-wise. So this is a super powdery formula. It just applies in a dusty way. I feel like it looks dusty on my eyes. The Anastasia shadows are powdery, but I don't feel like they look dusty and messy on the eyes, and that's just why I just don't love these palettes. I'm very bummed that I bought them. Marvelous Mauves, this one is just like, I don't know, something about this is a little off for me. I don't love it. I will definitely try to get some use out of it, but I just don't love those shades. Then my favorite one color-wise would definitely be this Blushing Berries. I love this shade in particular. This shade right here is really the reason I bought this palette. I knew I would use these other 3, but this one was so amazing. I need to use this more. They're very pigmented, but they look a little choppy on the eyes. They look a little patchy. They don't blend out that nicely, and they're just so powdery. It just feels like a mess to work with, and I just never ever use them. And the next set of palettes that I do not like would be the Huda Beauty Mini Obsessions palettes. So I have the New Nude and the Desert Dusk, which are 2 of her larger palettes. I love them. I think they perform really well, and the formula is not the same in these little Mini Obsessions palettes. So I have 3 of them here. This one is my favorite. This is the Coral Obsession. So you've got 7 matte shadows and then 2 shimmer shades. Then we have the Mauve Obsessions. I was gifted this by my friend Jean. I used up the matte cream in here. And then you've got 3 shimmers and the rest are mattes. And then I have one of the Gemstone Obsessions palettes, and this one is Amethyst. I did have the Emerald one, but I did end up returning that. So the main reason I don't love the Obsessions palettes is because the formula is not the same in the minis as it is in the larger palettes, namely in the matte shadows. So the two shimmers in here I think are great. The mattes I don't love. They seem so dang sheer to me, and I'm sitting here and layering to try to build up the color. I don't mind shades I have to layer maybe twice, 3 times to get them built up to the intensity that I want, but I feel like I'm just sitting here building and building forever, which I absolutely despise. That's just so frustrating to me because I love these colors, but I do have things that are similar that are easier to work with. Like, it's not going to take me as long to create an eye look because they're just more pigmented from the first dip. So this one is something that I do like. I'm just mad about that matte formula. And it's the same with the Mauve Obsessions. I feel like, you know, depending on the color. Also, this palette is really pretty when you look at it overall, but when you really break it down, first up, these 3 shades here, so similar. These 3 shimmers, so similar. That was not necessary. I love that one color in here. That's like the main reason I like this palette is this one shade, but I just don't love the way that the mattes build and blend out. And then we have the Gemstone Obsessions palette. So like I said, I did have the Emerald one and I returned it. The mattes were so sheer, so patchy, and the shimmery shades just felt like messy glitter. And that's kind of the same with this Amethyst Obsessions palette. I wish I did not keep this one. I really wish I returned it. The matte shades, again, require a lot of building. And then these shimmer shades look very pretty, but they're just like a lot of glittery mess. They don't have the most intense base. You do need a sticky base underneath them to really pack them on. I just didn't need this palette at all, and I have barely reached for it, and I wish I returned it when I had the opportunity to, because I just don't think it is easy to work with. I wish that, as beautiful as these shades are, I just wish they were more intensely pigmented and showed up better on the eye. So I'm gonna give these another shot. So while I'm telling you guys I don't love the Obsession formula, I did just buy the Neon Orange and the Neon Pink because I've heard that that formula is different and it's better. I have not tried it yet, so we'll see. If I feel like that formula is the same as this, then I will return those, but I'm just hoping for the best. I just think it's so weird why the formula just isn't the same in the mini palettes as it is in the larger palettes. Then the last 2 we have here are Morphe palettes, and you guys probably are going to be surprised. The 2 palettes that I regret buying are the 2 that everybody loves, and the 2 other palettes I have and love, other people regret buying. So I do have the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Bling Boss and Ring the Alarm palette. Those were the palettes from the Vault collection. People hated those. I have those 2, which I think were supposed to be the 2 best performing palettes, but I love them. I think that they work great, and I love the shades so much, so I don't regret those a bit. But these other 2, I do. So the first would be the Morphe Jaclyn Hill original palette. I bought this right when this palette and the Morphe brand launched at Ulta. Like, I do get that this is like an all-in-one palette, which is great, and the formula is like fine. It's not my favorite formula, but it is pigmented, they blend nicely, like it's an okay formula. But I just look at this and I'm like bored. I have all these shades and things that I like a little bit more. So, but you know, I think I'll give it another chance, but I'm likely going to be passing this on to my sister so that she can have a nice variety of shades. Again, I don't think the formula is bad, but like this palette just bores me overall. The next one I have here is the Morphe 3502 palette. I've done a video on this one as well. I actually love the colors in here. I think this one is so pretty, and I like that they do have a nice mix of formula. I do, of course, wish there were more shimmers. These 2 rows right here, all the shades look the same. So in my video on this palette, my biggest complaint is that those shades are way too similar. There are 3 or 4 shades that are looking basically identical in swatches and on the eye. Also, in my review video, I did create my own 15 pan palette using some of these shades because 35 is just way too many. It's not necessary, but getting that down to 15, it would make the palette seem cooler because you are still going to get all of those different tones in there. You're just not going to get so many repeats. So I just wish that they would have added some golds in there, some more light shades, some more shimmers, and it's, again, I think this one actually performs really well. and the colors are pretty. There's just way too similar, and I don't reach for either of those Morphe palettes because they're so big. Again, if it was like the size of one of the Vault palettes or the Morphe Kathleen Lights palette, I would use it a lot more. That's just way too big. I have other palettes sitting on top of it, so that's why I just don't reach for those. Another overhyped palette I don't like that I have already decluttered is the Morphe 35O palette. There were like 2 metallic shades in there that were insanely stunning and I loved them, but other than that it was mostly matte. The shades were very similar. I didn't love the way that one performed as well, so I did pass that one on to my sister-in-law. I do think that the Morphe 3502 and the Jaclyn Hill palette do perform better, but I just don't. First off, like I said, the Jaclyn Hill palette, the colors just kind of bore me, and the 3502, the shades are just too similar, and the palettes overall are just too big. So those are the overhyped palettes that I regret buying, I don't think are worth spending your money on. I would love to know your thoughts on these palettes if you've tried them, and I would love to know what palettes you regret buying or don't think deserve all the hype that they get. So I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.